Hello there, I'm Alex and this is a 9th Age battle report. In this one, I once again fight my good friend Manne, as my warriors will try to fight their way through the green tide that is Orcs and Goblins. Okay, so Warriors of the Dark Gods versus Orcs and Goblins. And here is the lists. My list is pretty much the usual, but today with the Alchemy Fire combo. The Banner Enchant Wasteland Torch gives me flaming attacks for the first round of combat. And at the start of the game I can burn a terrain piece and make it into a ruin. And it also gives me Strider Ruin, so it's pretty cool. Alchemists make stuff flammable and fire burns flammable things, so that's how that combo works. As per usual, have in mind that we never write lists for particular opponents or scenarios, so none of our lists is written with today's opponent in mind. We rolled for deployment and secondary objective before the game, and it's counter thrust and king of the hill. In counter thrust, you take turns to deploy your units one by one, and you can deploy deeper than usual, but you can't be within 20 inches of an enemy unit. When you are dropping your fourth unit, that is when you can earliest drop all the rest of your army to secure first turn. And that's exactly what the Orcs did in this one, so the Orcs are going first. In the secondary objective King of the Hill, both players choose a single terrain feature that they then have to protect. You score the secondary objective by being inside the enemy's chosen terrain feature with a scoring unit by the end of the game, while at the same time not having the enemy's scoring units in your terrain. I used my banner to burn down the forest, making it into a ruin, and then I chose that as my terrain. And the Orcs, fearing my flaming banner and alchemy combo, sneakily chose the pond, or water, or lake, or whatever that is, as their objective points, as the flaming attacks does not work in water. The Goblin Raiders scout on the right flank, and we make some small uninteresting vanguard moves. And then it's time to start. Orcs turn 1. The right scrap wagon rolls up the field. These things is annoying as hell. The left one just bumps the trolls. Everything else moves up a bit. Flux card 7 and Totemic Summon is cast but dispelled. Then Break the Spirit is cast on the warriors. The Spider Riders, the Goblin Raiders, shoots at the Warhounds, killing 1. The Goblins on the big spider shoots at the same Warhound but misses. The Web Launcher shoots at the Chosen and hits but makes no damage, but the Chosen is now trapped in a web. Warriors turn 1. No charges, but the Herald flies up next to the scrap wagon, and the Warhounds runs up and stands in front of the Eadbasher Orcs and the Gargantula. Everything else moves up slightly or stays where it is. I've chosen Brand of the Dragon on the Herald to get Fly and Fire Breath, and Emissary of Chaos mostly to be stubborn and unlock Pentagram of Pain. And I try Pentagram of Pain in the Aura, which would hit the Scrap Wagon, Gnashers and Spider Riders, but it's dispelled. Silver Spike makes 2 wounds on the big spider, and then Hellfire kills the Scrap Wagon. The Spider Riders flees in panic. The Flayers shoots and kills 2 Gnashers. Orcs turn 2. And the Goblin Chief charges the Warhounds. The Spider Rider Raiders, the Goblin Raiders, Spider Riders, the Spider Riders, Goblin Raiders, the Spider Riding Goblin Raiders, the Spider Riding Goblin... The Spider Riding Goblin... The Goblin Raiders fail their rally test and runs away some more. The scrap wagon bumps into the trolls again. The trolls are afraid of fire and stays in the water. Flux card 1 and Totemic Summon goes off, and a wild owlbear appears. The goblins on the giant spider kills 2 warriors, and the owlbear uses breath on the flayers, but alas, it's not very effective. Only 1 dies. The Goblin Chief kills the Warhounds, and it's Warriors' turn 2. The Exalted Herald charges the Goblin Chief, It passes its terror test, but decides to flee anyway. It passes all the orcs and ends up all the way on the left flank. Good thing all the orcs are fearless. The warriors who also wanted to charge the goblin charges the gnashers instead. If they charge me, we hit each other at the same time. But if I charge him, I get to go first. It's a long charge, but it's not much to lose and all to win. But I rolled 2 ones and moves up 1 inch. The herald has nothing to redirect into and fails and moves 5 inches towards the middle. And I do not move a lot or at all with the rest of my army. Fluxcard 2 and Pentagram kills some gnashers and then Silver Spikes on the Garantula is dispelled. But I get an extra armor on my warriors. Shooting does nothing. And it's Orcs turn 3. The gnashers charges the warriors back and they make their charge. And the Owlbear attacks the Chosen Knights to hold them in place, as my opponent is clearly planning something on that flank. The Goblin Chief does not rally and almost runs away. The smaller Spider Riders, however, does run home, crying. The Scrap Wagon rolls 15 and rolls up to here, in front of the hill. But the Chariot on the flank can still see it. The Boar Riders and the Giant Spider moves up. Finally some movement in this game. Battle Focus on the Gnashers is cast, but I let it go. I then try to dispel Break the Spirit on my warriors, but it goes off anyway. Shooting does nothing. The Gnashers and warriors strikes at the same time, and the warriors hit on a 3-up but misses 11 of their attacks, and kills 5. The Gnashers on the other hand kills all the warriors. Yeah, that's not gone well. The Chosen Knights does 2 wounds on the Owlbear, failing to kill it, and it does 2 wounds back and wins the combat, but the Knights pass their break test. But mission accomplished, the Knights are stuck. Warriors turn 3. The Herald charges the Garantula, and the Chariot charges the Scrap Wagon, and the Chosen charges the other Garantula. I thought about charging my warriors into the trolls in the water earlier, but when I got Break the Spirit on them I decided not to. And the Chosen rolls 8 and makes it, the Chariot rolls 3. But when we measured we found that it's just enough, so I couldn't actually fail. Even though my dice really wanted me to. On the right side the Herald also makes its charge. Word of Iron on the Chosen is dispelled, but Silver Spikes goes off on the trolls. It doesn't kill anything, but I don't care about that, because all I wanted was Alchemical Fire on the Garantula. And for that to happen I simply have to successfully cast an alchemy spell. The Chosen Knights kills the bird bear thing. I roll a 6 for the amount of impact hits from my Chariot on the Scrap Wagon and kills it straight up. And overrun into the spider. Roll a 6 again and makes 2 wounds. And then the Chosen activates their flaming banner and makes like 9 wounds. It dies. I overrun again and both of them makes it and get another charge. The Herald does 2 wounds on the other spider and it does 1 wound back. Orcs turn 4. It does not seem to exist any photos of this, but the Goblin Chief fails its rally test again and this time it leaves the battlefield. The Ferals turns to the left and the 3 remaining Gnashers block my warriors. And whatever those small things are blocks my Chosen Knights. Then it's magic and the spider is now tougher, even though this picture is very blurry. But that's okay because I have another one, but it's also blurry. The Chosen kills all the Boar Riders and turn to the right. Impacts from the Chariot and it's a 5 this time. 3 wounds go through and 1 troll dies. The trolls make no wounds back, loses the combat, fails their Discipline 8 break test twice, flees and is run down by the Chariot, who also overruns into the Eadbashers. Amazing. With the extra toughness on the spider, the Herald makes no wounds, but takes 1 back, which means the combat is a draw and the spider reforms. Warriors turn 4 and the Gnashers are blocking the warriors, but I charge out with just my general into the Eadbashers. The Chosen Knights charges those small things and the Chosen charges the other orcs. They stand and shoot and it kills 1 Chosen. I get the Word of Iron on the Chariot, he almost dispels it, but with the extra 2 from the Book of Arcane Power I get it off. And then I get Breath of Corruption on my general as well. All my 9 flayers shoot at the Gnashers, but since they are in the ruin I don't hit them. Impacts from the chariot does nothing this turn, I think. The chariot killed 2 orcs in total, and I think they were both from the regular attacks. The Chosen Lord of course kills the champion in a duel. I win the fight, but he is steadfast. The Herald and his 8-legged friend hugs a bit like 2 tired boxers, and then the Chosen kills a lot of orcs. And the orcs makes 3 wounds back. Orcs turn 5. Everything is in combat, so straight to magic we go. Bring the Pain on Spidey goes off, but I dispel it. Barely. But he gets Awakened Beast on the orcs and makes them a bit tougher. The Chosen kills some orcs, and the orcs kill some Chosen. I win the fight, but he is steadfast. The Chosen Lord issues another challenge, and the orc battle standard accept. I kill him, but the rest of the orcs kills the chariot. Let's take a moment to honor a fallen hero. That's enough. Warriors turn 5. The warriors charges the Gnashers, and the Chosen Knight marches into position. Next turn they are ready to charge or simply enter the water to claim the secondary. The flayers both moves up in preparation for blocking or charging the spider, should the herald fall. I get the big word of iron off on the Chosen, giving them 2 more armor. I think they will be alright, but it's good to be safe. Then Hellfire on the spider is dispelled. But I'm still pretty happy because I got Alchemical Fire off due to the Word of Iron, and the spider is now flammable. I had planned to save the breath for the orcs, but since I can't get loose from the spider, it's time to breathe fire upon him. I do, and I get 15 experience and loot 10 crisp spider meat. The Chosen is destroyed, even though they had more armor, and the orcs pivot into position for round 6. In the middle, the Chosen Lord is no longer in any duels, and the angry Greenskins does 3 wounds upon him. Orcs turn 6. The orcs charges the Chosen Knights in the flank. My mistake. I thought the Chosen should stick around, but it was not very good to put the knight so close anyway. Bring the Pain on the Eadbashers is dispelled, but he gets Break the Spirit on the warriors. And this spell, whatever that was, on the feral orcs. Turns out the Eadbashers didn't need Bring the Pain to kill the Chosen Lord, but the ferals does no wounds on the Chosen Knights. The Knights lose the combat with a point or 2, but pass their break test. They do however not pass their discipline test and can't reform. Warriors turn 6, the last turn. Break the Spirit or not, here I come. I have to kill those Eadbashers, and I have to enter the lake with a scoring unit, so there is no holding back. The Herald and one of the Flayer units also charge, and everyone makes it. Thankfully we have Strider Ruin, but please hold your breath as we make the first dangerous terrain roll as we enter the open ground. 5 warriors die, and the sorcerer takes 1 wound. Please keep your breath some more as we make the next roll as they enter the water. Only 2 warriors this time. That's gone well. Word of Iron on the warriors is cast, and then Breath of Corruption on the herald also goes off, but Hellfire is dispelled. But I get Guiding Light on the Chosen Knights. What will happen in the last round of combat? Can I kill all the Eadbashers and claim secondary objective? Will he get the final wound on my herald? And will the Chosen Knights hold off the flanking orcs or even win? Before I tell you about the last round in this epic game, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and please hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It's so boring to have to ask for likes, but it's very important that you do, as that is your way of telling YouTube that this is good, this I want more of. Also, subscribe to my channel.
Or face the consequences.
Or something like that. There, good. Now when you have liked and subscribed, I will tell you how the match ended. In the big fight in the middle, the Herald is the quickest and starts by taking a big breath. Wounding and killing a few, he then kills a few more with his regular attacks, and the warriors kill some more. When the orcs get to fight back, there are only 5 of them left. He swings on the sorcerer and the herald in desperation, trying to get a few more points, but does nothing thankfully. The herald stomps, but does not kill all the remaining orcs. The orcs flee, and I decide that they should flee away from the herald and tries to restrain with my warriors. I really don't want them to make more dangerous terrain tests, but at least I don't think they are possible for them to run out of the water, but they thankfully makes their discipline check and stay just where they are. The flayers, however, intercepts the fleeing orcs and runs them down. The chosen knights kills 2 orcs but takes 3 wounds back, loses the fight but passes their break test with the help of guiding light. And that is the end of another thrilling game of 9th Age fantasy battles. The game was pretty slow in the beginning as both sides tried to get the perfect charge off, but when the shit hit the fan and we both got to do what we do best, which is killing stuff, it went pretty fast. Both my flayer units is still alive at the end, which I believe never happened before, but I already kept you long enough. So let's present the score. In the end he get half the points for my chosen knights and my herald, and he of course got my general. So his score is 2,832, but I get 3,822, and with secondary accounted for, that's a solid victory of 16-4 for me. This was my 5th game of the year and my 3rd win. And finally I got my revenge against Manne, and you can see how sad he is in this picture. That makes it my time to put on a smug face, and I chose this one. Make sure to like and subscribe, and why don't you check out my Instagram and Patreon page as well. Links in the description. Hurry up and become my first Patreon supporter. It costs next to nothing, and it's the right thing to do. Have a great time, and I'll see you soon. Alex out.